Question number one for going to the answers. So let's think about this for a second. It says in the above diagram, B lies on segment AC. X and Y have to be integers. Integers, hopefully we've learned by now, is nice rounded numbers, not decimals or fractions. So what's going to happen here is when I look at my answers, because I have to look at the answers to answer this question, I look and I see 1, 2, 3, 4 odd numbers and 1 even. Kind of interesting that that happens. Here's why. If x is odd, that means the entirety of y plus y must also be odd. And if they are split evenly, because they're both y, so it's split in half, if I take an odd number and divide it by 2, I'm going to get a decimal or a fraction, depending upon which way you want to look at it. So an example would be 3 divided by 2 is 1.5. If x is even, then that means that the two y's have an even number to split. So say it was 4, for argument's sake, that would mean 2. So I still get a nice integer answer. So that means my answer for number 1 must be 40. Question number 2, I'm going to try each pattern. I have to go to the answers to figure out what the answer is. I've got add 10 to each number. 14 to 24 works, and then the second 24 to 44 does not work. That's adding 20. You'll notice for each of these, by the time you go from 24 to 44, I break the pattern. So same with take half and add 17. I'm looking for 29 for that 44. Triple the number and subtract 18. That doesn't work out from 24 to 44. So what does work is the subtract 2 and double a number. I try that each time. It works. 24 to 44 actually works for the first time. Works the rest of the way. I want to check all of those out if I have the time. Also, I'd like to note that it says for the fifth option, none of these rules create the pattern. What are the odds of that happening? Not very good. If you see an answer that says none of the above, no solution, very rarely is that the correct answer. It can be, but it's the last thing to consider. Question 3 deals with slope of a line and a line equation. So knowing what I know from Algebra 1, I know that 5 is my slope since your constant times x is your slope. So that kind of helps me whittle down the potential answers I'm going to look at. I still need to look at the answers to answer this question. I can't answer it without looking at the questions, but we're also going to use the technique of plugging in. So let's plug in because that's the only way I can really truly answer this. I'm going to choose the middle one. So the middle one is no longer the slope of 5 through 2 comma 38. I'm going to choose the 28. And if it's slightly off one way or the other, I'll know which answer to go with. In this case, it actually does work out. So my answer is number 2, slope of 5 through the point 2 comma 28. So next question that I need to look at the answers in order to figure out. 50 root 50 minus root 100 is equivalent to which of the following? I already went ahead and broke it down. If you're good at roots, I broke it down to 5 times 5 times 2, which is a 5 root 2. And then minus 10, because I know the square root of 100 is 10, so my answer is G. Now let's say you didn't know how to do that, however. You could absolutely go through, plug the original into your calculator, get the decimal, and then go through and check each one until you get one that matched that. So clearly H wouldn't work when I plug in root 50 minus root 100 in my calculator, but I could check the others and see which one works. And it turns out to be 5 root 2 minus 10. All right, and our last question, question number 5. We're talking about triangles. Whenever there is a make up your own triangle question, whether it's a go to the answers type question or not, be careful when you make up that triangle because it's very tempting to call it like a right triangle when in the directions it never mentions that. So that's why answer A is wrong. Yes, it does work for right triangles, but only for right triangles. I can come up with another triangle. I call it 2, 3, 4 triangle. That works as a triangle, but it doesn't fit that answer A pattern with our Pythagorean theorem. B, not too bad looking. I have 2 plus 3 is greater than 4. 5 is greater than 4, so I'm kind of liking B right now. I'm going to keep checking it out, though. What if I'm making a mistake? So let's disprove the others. C would be 5 is less than 4. That's not correct for my triangle, so I don't like C. D is totally ridiculous. It does say that A is smaller than C. So they can't equal each other. That's no good. And the answer for E would actually be what would be considered like a flat triangle or almost a non-existent triangle. It can't happen that two of the sides added together equal the third. I get like this smushed shape. So I do like my answer of B that I thought all along.